I mean, we're looking at 4 years and 2 months now, that since the month that I was diagnosed with cancer. And these past, we'll just say 4 years for to save a little bit of time. These past 4 years have been something so profoundly unique, so profoundly in its own right, I mean, devastating to a degree, and yet profoundly rich in experiences and lessons, and ultimately sort of this prepared canvas of which has just been sitting there waiting for me to really paint something of which I am able to do in the most raw sense, in the most unfiltered sense. And that, I feel, has been okay. That has been the most enriching experience and the most enriching feeling about this path that I've had to go down in the past few years, where I've been between a couple of residences of which have housed me, and which I have gone on to have to be on short-term or long-term disability, then back to work, and then disability, then back to work, and keeping track of that, and then just the mountains and mountains of medical bills, and then those being all the life things that I've had to deal with that were just a complete 180 from what I had sort of prescribed myself in October, November of 2021. Because in November 2021, I had taken a trip with a very, very good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, to Manchester, to England. And we were looking at both of us continuing our studies in music, going towards a master's degree. And there at the University of Salford, to which he's actually there now. So shout out to him. But yes, we were looking towards that. And that was that I had prescribed myself, fall of 2022, going to Manchester and really trying to tackle a passion that was, again, music is something that'll never leave me, and I certainly would love to, and still love to, and intend on sharing and serving within that passion. But I think when I was diagnosed, it was almost a bit of a sign that maybe the gods had something else for me to accomplish, something else for me to pursue within that realm of passion and of service. Because I guess service is a passion of mine, but I certainly keep those separate as well, because they both where within they both lie in their each unique manner. I certainly want to give them each their own sort of blog to post on, because they both are willing to have sort of these deliverable and
their own paths, right?
Their own paths, yes, but also their own, the attention and ultimately the ability for you to go down one path while completely ignoring the other. So they're unique, but you can do one without really attaching to the other to a point. And what I think allowed me to come in and say, okay, I have this passion to serve, but I need to make sure that the passion is settled and and taken care of, but also that in the service, that's taken care of as well. And if I can get into the passion to then serve others, I can connect them both. But they're each their own unique monster, I suppose. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I really took care of. And I wonder, again, that and every other conversation and essay that I write on what was supposed to happen and what ended up happening and what could happen still, like all of that is just really, 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 it's difficult for me to really hone down on whether it's they or just the universe. Whatever was supposed to happen is happening. And to try to put my finger on it, I don't know if that's I think it's a worthwhile venture to ponder, but for me to search for answers, I feel is a bit not on the cards for quite some time. Once I have all the time in the world, which will probably be never, because I don't like to give that to myself, but that's something for me to figure out later. Is the answer as to why I was put down this path instead of pursuing that music degree, because that was so much. So I was so happy as well, and that was the striking part, was that in those moments where I didn't know that I had cancer and that I was thinking about the opportunity to go study, like I was just so wildly joyful for that opportunity. Yet it was but in a way violently stripped from me in that moment, merely not even 3 months later. So what did that look like? From, you had this one, you were 22? How old were you at that point? 23,
24.